Jesus Christ, in addition to a full 46 seconds of logos, DC is now turning to a Marvel-style showpiece that checks all their characters. And if that weren't bad enough, they have the balls to include fucking Green Lantern.
For the time being, I'm going to ignore the annoying-ass X seconds of logos thing to point out that, yes, they should include Green Lantern, considering this logo isn't meant to represent the characters in the film, but the characters of the comics. Noticed Aquaman is wearing his classic costume from the comics? That should have tipped you off. Also, it's not a bad thing that DC begins to borrow from Marvel Studios. I mean, this film is better than Batman vs. Superman by a country mile.
Also, DC Comics.
Do some questions? It's for our podcast.
Listen, there'll be a few times that I'm going to compare this to a much better Marvel movie, so strap in. Ready? Okay, discount Spider-Man Homecoming opening.
In order for this to be a discount Homecoming opening, Superman would have to be the one filming, and even he knows to hold the phone horizontal. Also, Jeremy makes a pop culture
A man I used to say that hope was like your car keys. Easy to lose, but if you dig around, it's usually close by.
So let's review. The S on Superman's uniform is not an S, but it's a symbol that stands for hope. And much like your car keys, hope is usually close by. Except when Superman is saving someone in France while you're in the middle of the woods trying to start your Jeep Wrangler to get away from rednecks, the axe-wielding redneck. Then your car keys are not usually close by. Gave them to Steve Zahn, who was thrown into the S-shaped Hope River near Kent Falls. So I think I understand your simile.
You said all this bullshit, but didn't send this horrific CGI used on Henry's face simply because this motherfucker didn't want to shave that ridiculous mustache that had zero bearing on the Mission Impossible film.
Oh, cool! Someone's committing a blatant crime in Gotham City. I love it when they play the hits.
Literally wouldn't be Gotham City if there wasn't a crime being committed. I mean, the police being highly corrupt is one of the many reasons Batman as a character was needed in this city.
Batman jumps off a building, assuming that when he tackles a parademon in midair, it will be able to take on the new weight and keep flying.
I don't think Batman thought that, Jeremy. The way he tackled him appears to me as if Bruce thought he couldn't take his weight. I mean, if he didn't, he would have jumped at the parademon perpendicular to the ground, not parallel with it.
Also, after all this, Batman ends up on top of the same building? How the f*** did that happen?
Well, if you didn't f***ing fast forward through the damn scene, you may have been able to see how that happened.
Good. It's time then.
Well, it's really only time for Batman and Wonder Woman, but you wanted to go ahead and challenge the Avengers franchise, even though there are no solo movies for the other three yet.
What the hell does this line even mean? This comes across as if A, you're suggesting that Bruce and Diana are the only ones that are going to deal with this problem, or B, Bruce and Diana are the only ones that got a solo film. The very next scene with Bruce is him attempting to recruit Aquaman, so A doesn't make sense, and Batman never got a solo film in this continuity either, so B doesn't make sense. If you're going to suggest that BVS counts as a Batman solo story, then why did we need one for Wonder Woman? She was in that movie too.
Also, these banners are hanging in honor of Superman's death, but I'm cynical enough to think it's DC advertising for the next Superman movie.
Okay, so your stupidity counts as a sin for this film? Got it.
I know this movie's gotten a lot of flack for upskirting, but honestly, I think the amount of upsuiting is overlooked.
This kind of undermines your attempt to criticize this film for using quote-unquote upskirt shots of Wonder Woman. I mean, it's okay to do it to a man, but not to a woman? Alright, admittedly, my commentary will make more sense in the next sin.
Look, all I'm saying is Wonder Woman is shot completely different in this movie than when a woman was at the helm. And no, I am not above perviness, but this movie isn't Red Shoe Diaries' Wonder Woman of Desire, an unproduced script I wrote in 1995 under the pseudonym Johnny Spokes. This is a movie where Wonder Woman is an equal superhero to all the men, and it's guaranteed we won't be seeing any dudes filmed in a similar manner.
Okay, this is what I was talking about.
But honestly, I think the amount of upsuiting is overlooked. It's guaranteed we won't be seeing any dudes filmed in a similar manner.
Bullshit.
Exactly what is wrong with this shot? She is standing above the enemies and brought a bad guy up to her using the lasso of truth. How would it make sense for this not to be a shot from below? She's in a position of power over a man, and the height difference accentuates this. Would you like this to be shot from above, or have the man be above her? And you can't see shit anyway, unless you're suggesting her inner thighs are somehow sacred.
The following scene is ruined by no less than 10 cuts back and forth between Wonder Woman doing her acrobatics and Roose Bolton shooting at her, not to mention how she manages to block bullets while she's turned the other way, and since when can Wonder Woman do Flash stuff anyway?
Wonder Woman, while not as fast as the Flash, has superhuman speed. She has blocked bullets with her bracelets since her inception as a character, and it's been established forever in the comics. And don't give me that bullshit about,
I shouldn't have to read a comic to understand a movie.
Because this movie is telling you that she has some level of superhuman speed. And while I'm on the topic of why the books matter, where else besides the movie demonstrating that she has the ability to block bullets, would you get that she has this ability in the first place? The film itself is establishing that she can do this, so if Jeremy is questioning it, then he's asking for the source of this ability. That is the comic book.
The Aquaman.
I hear you can talk to fish.
I can't wait to see how Aquaman's sea powers somehow factor into beating an army of flying parademons from space that probably get sick when they go near water anyway.
Another lame joke highlighting your comic book ignorance. Aquaman doesn't need to be near water to be powerful. This is like stating Sub-Zero needs to be near ice to be a cryomancer. Again, the movie tells you that he doesn't need to be near water.
I don't mind if the ocean dries. How about if they boil? Dressed like a bat. You're out of your mind, Bruce Wayne.
Are they having 3 separate discussions here that have nothing to do with one another?
Aquaman is ignoring Batman's warnings about the coming of Steppenwolf, calling him crazy.
Is there a reason that this version of Alfred dresses like he ordered everything from the Eddie Bauer catalog? I mean, cargo pants? Seriously?
You missed the actual sin of Jeremy Irons wearing the Israeli Defense Forces sweater, which probably had something to do with Gal Gadot.
And this is the days when one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins.
Wait, are they saying this movie is in the same timeline as Batman Returns? Because that raises a lot of questions.
No, it isn't, because they aren't saying that at all. Batman Returns never had wind-up penguins. In fact, in that film, Penguin used actual penguins with explosives tied to their backs. Penguin in the comics, however, has used toy penguins. There's that word again.
Didn't think you were ready for them to...
For what? For them to see the monster.
You are not a monster.
It's weird that you thought I meant me.
Not really. The logical discussion you were having about you and what others might feel when they see you definitely made it sound like you were talking about being a monster.
Wrong, because from his perspective, he was talking about his father, and the movie makes that clear. Cyborg's point is that when he mentions the word monster, that his father automatically assumes that he's referring to himself. This is a reference to how people call the monster Frankenstein, except that's the name of the doctor.
Oh, cool. Themsparkivia. Thimbleskinny. Timby Thumminut. Why couldn't they just name this shit Amazon Island?
Because Themyscira is a real fucking place, not a made-up comic book name?
I honestly didn't think the CGI baddies could get any worse than Doomsday, especially ones that are essentially humanoid, but DC once again finds a way.
It would be nice if you can explain how Steppenwolf is worse than Doomsday. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that I disagree, but just saying words doesn't make them true.
Keep it moving.
What the hell is this plan? Give the all-important life box to some character we've never met, then tell her to ride really fast that way? Was this really the only contingency plan they had for this box for the last several thousands of years?
I'd love to hear an alternative. The Amazons had a pretty great plan, actually. They're on an island you can't see with the box inside of what is essentially a fortress guarded by superhumanly powerful beings. There's honestly no way they could have accounted for boom tubes.
Oh no, the Allspark! the Tesseract! the Rabbit's Afoot! Mother Box is out in the open!
Satire and parody! This is the defense for shit like this.
So wait, does an arrow have the load-bearing capability to pull something as heavy as the Mother Box as it flies through the air?
So wait, when did the film give you any indication of what this specific Mother Box weighs exactly? Or the strength of the arrows used by superhuman Greek mythological beings in a comic book film?
Also...
Also, this fucking laugh.
Does this movie explain how Steppenwolf can use the Bifrost at any time or place that he wants? I'm sure there's a comic explanation in New Gods #1 from 1970, but if I'm gonna look that up.
This is how much Jeremy respects his audience. He proves that he in fact has the information he needs in order to explain something he has a personal issue with, but disregards it and plays dumb anyway. And you people just lap this shit up. Seriously, what Jeremy is asking for here is the filmmakers stop this exciting action sequence and go, okay, we're going to pause the action here for the infantile percentage of people who care to know how the boom tubes work. Otherwise, they're going to say my movie is bad. But why stop there? Why not ask if the Amazons are all women, how do they reproduce? What about how they have super strength in the first place? Oh, I know. Do they even eat? Yeah, these are all things I need to know before I can continue watching this fucking film.
You know the banks. Jump like a cougar if you miss by a dime.
Jump like a cougar if you miss by a dime.
What's so wrong with this phrase? It makes total sense.
Well, I'll see if she'll take your call.
So it's a shame.
That's racist.
Dumbest usage of a dumb gag in the history of dumb gags.
His headlight went from blue to red. He's been iRoboted. Run, Shia!
Jeremy makes a pop culture rep, satire and parody.
You know, I paid millions of dollars for this building's security.
Yeah, it looked expensive.
I guess Diana has ninja powers now, too. She can crack Bruce's, aka Batman's, security system without being detected. Did she have time to learn that?
Considering Diana is anywhere between 900 and 5,000 years old in this film, she didn't have any time. Nope, none at all.
They called him Steppenwolf. The end of worlds.
He was a long way from the rockin' sounds of Magic Carpet Ride.
Skip.
Nightmare creatures who feed on fear.
These so-called nightmare creatures significantly lose their nightmare status when you see them flying around like gnats wielding laser guns.
I'm pretty sure if I had a dream that 6-foot-tall gnats were shooting at me with laser guns, I'd classify that as a nightmare.
Also, do they really feed on fear? Don't they just...
Wait, what was that?
They really feed on fear?
One more time.
Feed on fear?
Do they really feed on...
Feed on...
Allies from other worlds.
How did you get the lanterns to show up during this battle? Or did they just show up on their own? This whole movie is like a crash course while we literally watch the DCEU crash to the ground.
Dude, the Green Lanterns are DC's intergalactic police force. Do I need to say more?
Quicksilver or Flash or Neo is doing something really fast, so we have to slow it down to show their perspective cliche.
That's a cliche. How else would you show speedsters, Jer? Just show them doing barely perceptible shit that you would then later complain about because you couldn't see?
What is brunch? You wait in line for an hour for essentially lunch.
Jesus Christ, Barry is arguably the best thing about this movie, but the poor guy's gotta read bad stand-up lines like this to make him seem extra nerdy.
What movie were you watching where Barry was the best thing about it? Because it sure as hell wasn't this one.
Diana and Victor meet face to face, but why here? Why in public?
Why the f*** not?
No one else can do what you do.
How would Diana know this? Cyborg himself doesn't even know what he can do, and it's not like this is a set of powers that anyone's seen before.
Except Bruce and Di have been following Cyborg and the others for a while now, and they know a bit about them already. Not to mention, in the previous scene that you inexplicably cut, Cyborg hacked into Bruce's Batcave computer.
I lost someone I loved once.
You might say that I pined for him. Also, look, I know the power of love better than anyone except Huey Lewis, but Steve died 100 years ago. Just because the movie came out 5 months before this doesn't mean Diana has to still be hung up on that asshole.
Yeah, but Diana is hundreds, potentially thousands of years old. 100 years to her is like a year ago for us.
Geez, you'd think someone close to the ocean would be more concerned about littering.
Okay, but you're close to YouTube. Are you concerned about putting out misinformation?
Is there any real explanation as to how Steppenwolf knows exactly where these mother boxes are on Earth?
Yes, there is an explanation. The mother boxes are what's creating the boom tubes.
Huh, looks like Amber heard a noise.
Oh my god.
Apparently, Aquaman's abilities underwater include punching and kicking.
Apparently, Jeremy's abilities include pointing things out on the screen.
The firstborn of beloved Queen Atlanta.
Are you guys going to address the fact that the mother box was stolen and that's a huge development? We saw the Amazons fight hard to keep it in their possession, and the Atlanteans, about as tenacious as an Atlanta team in the playoffs.
Last time the Titans were in the Super Bowl, Jason Momoa looked like this.
Suspect was a giant bat with huge fangs.
Oh, amazing DC Marvel crossover here as J. Jonah Jameson finally makes his appearance. Can't wait until there's a power struggle between he and Perry White during the Daily Planet Daily Bugle merger.
Jeremy apparently doesn't know what acting is. Satire, parody.
What a visually arresting shot. Tells the story of Bruce Wayne deboarding his private jet in an uncertain world of Gal Gadasses.
Oh hey, another time Jeremy attempts to frame this film as sexualizing women, even though nearly every scene featuring Aquaman up to this point has been him shirtless so we can see how sexy he is. Apparently men aren't capable of being sexualized.
Batman jumps down from this gargoyle, as he is wont to do. But why did Wonder Woman and Flash show up to the rooftop like normal people? Why did Batman need the grand entrance at all?
What are you, dense? Are you retarded or something? Who the hell do you think he is? He's the goddamn Batman.
These lead back to Braxton Island, between the two cities.
Because, in case you forgot that bullshit from the last movie, Gotham and Metropolis are separated by a very short distance, with just a small body of water between them.
BVS was not a great movie, but if there's one thing they absolutely nailed, it was the distance between Gotham and Metropolis. Gotham is in New Jersey, and Metropolis is in Delaware. If you look at a map of New Jersey and Delaware, oh my gosh, there's a strip of water between them. That can't be real. I must be making this up. There's no way. There's a strip of water between Jersey and Delaware.
First off, how does Flash make everything he touches go as fast as him? Second, if he has to wear the suit to stop from catching fire, why didn't Silas? Third, doesn't Silas now have all the whiplash?
The first part of your question is silly. That's like asking why are you going as fast as your car when you're inside it? The answer to your second question is that Silas nor his clothes are moving while at that speed, the same way Barry and his costume are. Silas's jacket, for example, would essentially be standing still. And your third question has an answer that is dealt with in the comics. The Speed Force creates an aura around the people Flash saves. If you don't accept that answer, well, it's a comic book movie. How does Flash move that fast anyway? Why did he choose red for his costume? These are questions no one gives a fuck about, so the movie would be objectively worse for trying to answer them.
All he needs now is the last box of men.
She doesn't already have it. He doesn't have it.
But I decided to take it out of its hiding place and show it to you guys out in the open. It was doing fine where it was, but I figured I'd ramp up the danger some more.
But that's not true, is it? The parademons ransacked Cyborg's house and kidnapped his father to acquire that box. If Cyborg didn't take it beforehand, it would not have been fine where it was. Watch the damn movie.
You have no idea what kind of power you're dealing with.
Even if there's a fraction of a chance.
Jesus Christ, Bruce. What is it with you and your low percentage chances? Last time you said some bullshit that if there was even a 1% chance of Superman being an enemy, you had to take it as an absolute certainty. Now you think you can control a mother box to resurrect the very same Superman because there might be a fraction of a chance without even thinking of the potential consequences?
Do you even Batman? This guy has contingency plans for things so mathematically irrelevant, he'd make Nick Fury go,
You lose something when you die. Maybe his soul. I'll have a contingency plan for that.
Lois. It's Lois. Even though Aquaman's literally talking about Supes losing the part that would allow him to recognize the people he loves, it's fucking Lois.
Okay, Aquaman was obviously wrong because the Lois thing actually worked.
It's pretty hilarious to me that they're pushing Clark down into this, still wearing the suit from his funeral. Not only will he return as Superman, but he'll also have a dangerous fashion sense that will make evildoers cower in fear.
Okay, but what the hell did you want them to do? Remove a dead man's clothes because him wearing a suit is funny to Jeremy of CinemaSins?
Glad Superman is alive, so that now this movie can officially start 35 minutes before it ends. But where did the rest of his suit go? Well, at least it kept his pants. Wonder Woman definitely would have been PG-13 naked if she went through this.
Wait, is this not the film sexualizing yet another male character? By my count, that's 2 so far. Isn't just the fact that he's half naked a bad thing, the same as it would be for a woman? I guess being accurate isn't what it's all about, is it?
Hey, guys, very important mother box to retrieve. It landed on somebody's car. Hello? Very important f***ing thing.
This isn't a sin of the film. It's the film stating that the Justice League makes mistakes. They're not perfect. You've gone from pointing out continuity errors to sinning characterization.
Clark.
Thank God they gave Lois more to work with in this movie than just to facilitate. I'm sorry. I couldn't say that with a straight face.
You're performing a voiceover. A straight face isn't requisite. Neither are pants. Ask me how I know.
Sure, the fate of the world hangs in the balance, but at least there's time for Clark to meditate and some corn.
What the hell is corn? I mean, wait, what was that?
You called Mom.
Whatever you want to call it, dude. I guess it's got to be weird to get your first post-death boner.
Jeremy says boner.
I've honestly lost count, but I'm going to estimate this is the 143rd hero shot in this movie.
So what?
I thought the parademons were attracted to fear, not sound. In fact, didn't this sound just make the parademon go crazy? So why would it pursue the sound? Yeah, maybe to destroy whatever is making it, sure.
Answering the question you're posing in the same sentence and sinning the movie for it, cliché.
While I watch Aquaman wrestle with these parademons, I'm at a total loss as to what he can actually do in this battle that is not in water. So is he just like really strong or something? Is that it? Couldn't Bruce have hired John Cena to be in the Justice League?
John Cena was in this movie. You just couldn't see.
Oh no, if only Steppenwolf would try any of his tricks instead of punching or kicking, considering he's like pretty much a god, right?
And Superman isn't? And what tricks? Using the boom tubes? How would that help here?
Civilians. Barry's headed. There's too many of them.
Dude, can't Wonder Woman use her newly formed Flash powers that we saw at the beginning of this movie to help Barry while you easily dispose of Steppenwolf? And why didn't you just go ahead and disable that guy when you had the chance?
Because, like I told you before, Superman's first priority is to save people. And Wonder Woman doesn't move at anywhere near the same speed of Superman, let alone Flash.
Slowpoke.
Exhibit 67,009 of Superman being way too powerful is him being able to keep up with the Flash. What makes Flash special if Superman could do the same thing?
The thing is, Superman isn't as fast as the Flash. He's almost there, but Flash still beats him out. Now, if this were Wally West, yeah, Superman doesn't stand a fucking chance.
So Steppenwolf is just no longer difficult, huh? He was kicking everyone's ass before Superman showed up. But now that Supes is out of the picture again, Wonder Woman and Aquaman can hold their own with very little trouble.
Wonder Woman was already holding her own versus Steppenwolf earlier. They stopped fighting because he escaped using a boom tube, and the League had to deal with the rising water from the river.
Looks like Bruce decided to pay for the Kent farm so that Martha could have her house back. Just wondering, though, why didn't he do this sooner? I know it was cool to pay for the funeral in the last movie, and maybe he thought he'd done enough, but it was clearly a dick move to not do this before now.
Presumably because he didn't know of Martha's financial troubles a couple years before they happened.
Here's the Rocky 3 ending for nerds.
What annoys me about this is that people constantly attempt to admonish people for being nerds, but isn't nerd culture the dominant one right now? Aren't you all consuming nerd stuff like superhero movies, video games, and porn?